Hi guys, and welcome back to another video Game with Powers. I'm Jake. In today's video, I'll be giving you guys my review of the Bazaars of Ubar, coming to you from Gray Fox Games, okay? As always with our review, guys, we go a little bit more in depth. And so we break the game down into 7 different categories. These categories are theme, components, setup, length, difficulty, replayability, and price. And then at the end of the video, I go ahead and give my overall rating. And then last but not least, since majority of these board games I have backed are coming from Kickstarter, I give you my thoughts and opinion on if I had the opportunity to back this game again, knowing what I know now, would I go ahead and do that? As always, guys, if there's a specific section of the video that you want to take a look at, so for example, with the theme, that's where I'm going to show you the mechanics and how things tie into the game. Please go ahead and check the timestamps down below. You can just go ahead and skip to that section. But let's go ahead and dive right into the Bazaars of Ubar, all right? Starting off with the theme here, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10. I think the theme with Bazaars of Ubar is good. Nothing really too crazy about it. At its premise, it says it is a engine building game, right? The theme of the game is you are an air captain of a ship in the Atlantis of the sands is what they call it. And you're essentially going to be using these trade winds to move about the land and pick up different goods. So there's a couple different goods in the game, and you'll be putting those in your little start and your airship, kind of very like Isle of Cat-ish, where you're going to have these different hexes. You're putting them in your ship, and you're trying to navigate them as such. But let's go ahead and jump down to the table where I got it all set up, and I'll show you how the mechanics of Bazaars of Ubar tie into the theme. Let's talk about the mechanics of Bazaars of Ubar and how they tie into the theme of the game. So Bazaars of Ubar is marketed as an engine building type game, right? Where you have these tiles over here on the left-hand side. You're going to be drafting these different tiles. When you draft these tiles, they're going to cost a certain amount of time, okay? And this is the time track every here, and each space counts as 1 time. So if I spent 3 time during my turn, I would have to move 3 spaces, okay? And then you're going to be drafting these tiles into a tableau. So everybody will have a starting tile. So when you draft these tiles, there are going to be little hourglasses on these tiles that will consume time and let you know the amount of time that you need to spend. Also, if there's any hourglasses that are connecting to your tile in that same direction, then you'd have to spend an extra time. So for example, if you looked at this tile here, you see there's an hourglass at the top of it and an hourglass at the bottom. So this would be 2 time. However, you notice there's an hourglass at the top of this, directly adjacent below, and an hourglass above the tile here, directly adjacent above. So if you were to draft this tile, this would cost you the 2 on this one, an additional 1, an additional 1. So it would cost you 4 time to draft that tile and put it in your tableau, okay? Also, sometimes on these tiles, they will have certain effects, and it's super simple, guys. You just draft that tile and do the effect that is on there. So let's say I did draft this one, okay? Its effect is I trade in 2 potions to get 2 scarabs, okay? So then I put it somewhere adjacent to one of my other tiles, and then I would be able to get other bonuses, all right? Each tile on there is going to have a bunch of different arrows, and depending on where you place that tile, you'll be able to activate other tiles that are already in your tableau and basically be able to chain certain things together, and that's how you're going to get these specific goods that you are going to need to go. So that is what the game is marketed as. However, I do feel at the core of this game, essentially, it is an economic game, because at the end of each round, okay, there's 3 spots on this board, round 1, round 2, and round 3 here, that once all the players are at the end of this round, we will then look at these market cards. So we have 3 market cards over here on the right-hand side of the board. I'll take a look at this one, and so this will tell you the price of all of the goods, what they're worth in this round. So you have a carpet, which is worth $2, chests are 0, lamps are 2, potion is 1, and scarabs are 4 coins at the end of this round. And so essentially, yes, while you are drafting these tiles and building your little engine out, the core of the game is to get all these goods and put them in your little ship, kind of like Isle of Cats, right? You're going to be fitting all these different goods, and then at the end of these rounds, you're going to be trading these goods in to go ahead and sell them so that you can get coins, okay? And the overall goal of the game is to have the most coins. So the player with the most money at the end of the game is going to be the winner. So that's where I feel like the mechanics of the game don't really tie into the theme of the game a whole lot. Is, like I said, that theme of you're using your airship, you're drafting these tiles and using these trade winds, and right, the winds are supposed to be the arrows, and you're going around the sands of Atlantis, and it's an engine building. And yes, while you're doing that, again, I feel the core of the game here is this economic type game where you're just trying to mix and match all these different combinations to get goods and then sell those goods at the end of the round. So I think if this was actually marketed as like an economic type game, I think the mechanics would tie a lot better into the theme. But for me, 7 out of 10 here for the theme. All right, guys, moving on to the components here. As always, we're going to go ahead and drop down to the table. I'm going to give you an overview of the components themselves, the storage solutions, and all of that nice little jazz detail and everything with the actual game. And then we will be back up top here for the rest of my review. Before I dive down to the table, though, I am going to rate these components an 8.5 out of 10. Now, this rating is solely based on the deluxe edition of these components. I think if I had the regular edition, I would have to rate that a little bit lower. But let's go down to the table, show you all that jazz, and then we'll be back up top here for the rest of our review. So back down here at the table, guys, before I dive into things, as I said with the theme, the version of the game you are looking at here is the deluxe edition, okay? And this playmat here was an additional add-on. Again, in the normal version of the game, what you would do is you would just have this board over here to the side, and then you would just have to make your tiles a tile pile over here. But I do enjoy the playmat because it kind of organizes everything. Let's take a look at the board. I don't know if you guys can already see already. I am glad that I got this playmat because the board, it does fold pretty well. It's a small board. I do enjoy that, but it is very, it's not flat at all. You can see the curve here with this board, and when you lay it down, yeah, maybe if you like smush it down after a while, it'll work, but 9 times out of 10, it's gonna kind of curve up, and so that's gonna be annoying for a lot of people. Now, the artwork here is very crisp. I do enjoy actually the artwork here on the board better than the artwork here on the playmat itself, just because, like I said, it's like a glossy, crisp finish to this artwork, where the playmat kind of looks a little faded. But the board is super small, fits into everything, okay? Another deluxe edition component is these metal coins. Okay, so you have 2 versions of these metal coins, and man, these things feel really, really nice. I'm so glad I got these metal coins in the game, just really making it stand out. Bring these up to the camera here for you guys. So this is what a gold coin is going to look like. Very shiny, has a nice feel to it, nice weight. In the base game, you would just get a bag of these little cardboard punch-outs here that I have with the game. Okay, the other deluxe component in the game is going to be these game tray boats. Okay, this also came in there, and essentially this is just a little airship boat that when you take this, your actual ship, you slide it in there and just gives it more of a presence, all right? Now, is all this stuff absolutely necessary? No, it is not. I would say that if anything that you would want to get would be these deluxe coins, all right? But I do believe they came in the base Kickstarter version. They were not an add-on. But these trays are actually, while they're cool and aesthetic, they actually make it difficult to store back in the box, which I'll get to that as well. These tiles, I do really love these tiles. These tiles are nice and thick. They have a nice finish on them. The artwork is cool. Everything, the iconography here is very clear and concise to read. I am not worried about these tiles at all. These are super, super nice and very crisp tiles. The goods tiles over here on the left side, same thing. I mean, these things are really, really thick, and I do enjoy that. They're sturdy. They feel protected. They feel really nice, and I'm never worried about something happening to these tiles because of the thickness of them. So kudos here with these tiles. All right. The market cards, you have a whole deck of market cards here. Just generic market cards, nothing too fancy about them. Here's all the rest of the good tiles in the game. And we had a dice that came, one of the stretch goals. There's a couple tiles that use this dice that has all the different icons of each good in them. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then the last thing we got here, guys, is the box itself, okay? Now, the box itself is pretty good. I do like here how they have on the right-hand side the storage for all of your tiles. This is where I put some goods in here and sometimes the metal coins. But here is the issue. Let me drop this, move this out here and drop it to you. My only issue is that I wish they made this insert a little bigger, or the box just a tad bit bigger for this deluxe edition, because all the cards will fit down here, which is nice. But like I said, when you stack all these trays together, okay, there's going to be 4 trays in total. It does leave a pretty size, fills this depth very, very well, okay? And so you cannot stack these trays with the ship inside of them. So when you add all these ships on top of each other, just like that, it overflows this top part. So then you really have no place to put all of these goods and metal coins and stuff like that here. And so if you don't get it perfect, like I pretty much have to put everything on top like this and then lay the board down. If you don't get it perfect, you are gonna have a little bit of man, what's the word I'm trying to look for here? The box is gonna rise just a little bit. And for people like me who have OCD, that is very annoying, because I want my boxes to lay down and be nice and smooth. I don't want to have a pop-up on the box. So I do wish they did something a little different with the insert in the box, to where with these game tray boats, you could store those a little bit better. In the base retail version of the game, you won't have these game trays, so it's going to be a beautiful breeze, because you'll just slide those in there and then you can stack everything else on top. So that is wonderful. And again, speaking of the retail version of the game, you'll still get these 4 boards, but you will not have any of these trays. And then you would just get these coins instead of the metal coins available. The last thing too is these little ship meeples. Now, in the base version of the game, you would get little just circular markers, and I actually can show them to you in the rule book here. You would just get these little 4 time markers, and that would be your person. Those are really the only differences between the deluxe edition and the retail version of the game. The last bit of the components is the actual rule book itself. Man, I do enjoy this rule book. Nothing super simple, super clean, gives you all the instructions. It's only 7 pages. They get straight to the point in a lot of this stuff. They do a good job of explaining everything. There is no real issues with this rulebook. Everything that you need to reference in the game is in this rulebook. They got the iconography guide. They got the different symbols, what happens at the end of round, and things like that. So super easy, crisp, clean, efficient rulebook here with the Bazaars of Ubar. All right, guys. Well, look, that is all the components of the game. Again, I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8.5 out of 10. That is for the deluxe edition. I think those metal coins in those game trays really, really make it stand out, even if they are a little bit difficult to get back in the box. All right, moving on to the setup here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the setup a 10 out of 10 here. Look, I think the setup to this game is phenomenal, okay? There is really only 4 steps to the Bazaars of Ubar in order to set that up. So let's go ahead and jump down to the table again, and I'll kind of show you very quickly how easy it is to set up the Bazaars of Ubar. Alright guys, look, just to show you how simple and easy this game is, here is the setup page, and it's only one page with only 4 steps. Man, I love that setup. It's super easy. All you would do is get out the game board and put it over here, or if you got the play mat, get that out. You get out the tiles and put them in the desired rows for your player count. Each player gets a starting tile. Each player would get the ship right here. Shuffle these marker cards, put 3 marker cards on the side, and put some of the goods out or in a pile, however you want to do it, and bam, you guys are ready to play the Bazaars of Ubar. Super simple, super easy. Literally takes like 1 minute to 2 minutes to set this whole bad boy up. Super crisp. Nice and easy, 10 out of 10. All right, guys, moving on to the length here. I'm going to go ahead and give the length an 8 out of 10. Now, on the box, it does say 30 to 60 minutes here. I would say right around a 2-player game would be about 30 to 45 minutes. I think the longest thing about the Bazaars of Ubar is in that initial tile draft phase, right? It's going to take you a while to go ahead and count up all those the time markers and things like that of how much time you're actually going to spend, and then just trying to plan your turn with the how do I like finesse, can I draft something to get another good and then turn that good into something else with the trade wind power. So that's really going to take the most time with this game, but the rounds actually go pretty quick because normally you're spending around 2 time almost every turn, 2 to 3 time, and there's, let me count real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. So pretty much around 3, around 4 to 5 turns, I would say, per round is a good average here. 15 turns total about average is what you would expect with this game, and so that actually flies really quickly. So I think there's a great length to this game here. Okay, moving on to the difficulty. As always with the difficulty, guys, the lower the number, the easier we feel the game is. The higher the number, the more challenging we feel the game is. I'm going to go ahead and give Bazaars of Ubar a 4 out of 10 here. I think the core of the game is super easy, super simple to pick up. Essentially, all you're doing on your turn is you're drafting a tile and you're gaining the bonus at the bottom of that tile if you can. And then whatever the arrow or direction of that arrow is pointing, wherever you place that tile, you'll be able to activate tiles orthogonally, adjacent, diagonally down in that section that you have. And basically, you're going to activate other tiles. I can't speak right now, guys. I apologize. But you'll draft the tile, put it down there, and then depending on what direction that arrow is pointing, you'll be able to activate other tiles that are already in your tableau. There we go. I can speak now, okay? I do think that portion of the game though is a little challenging, and that's what is going to take the most time, right? The first reason is, like I said, not only do you have to plan for the time that it's going to cost you from drafting the actual tile itself that are on the tile, you have to plan for any time that is around that tile that is directly facing that tile. So below it, orthogonally adjacent to that tile. If there's any other time, it's going to cost you more tiles. So there might be a tile that you really want, and a couple times you might forget, like, oh, I want to draft this tile, but hey, it's going to cost you 4 time because you've just counted the hourglasses on that tile and not the tiles that are facing the, I don't want to say facing because it's really the wrong word to say, but if there's any hourglasses on any other tiles adjacent to the tile you choose, like directly adjacent to it, to the right, above, below, or to the left, you have to account for that hourglass as well. Again, I can speak, guys, I promise. So I think that's going to take the most time, is trying to plan that out. And again, in a multiplayer game, 2-player, 3-player game, you might have a strategy and be like, man, I want that tile. I know exactly what I'm going to do. and your opponent takes that tile from you. So then you kind of have to look around the board and you're trying to analyze to see what the best actual strategy is here. So that process in itself is going to take you a while to get used to and understand, as well as the process of activating these trade winds. Now, something that kind of makes it a little more difficult as well is there is no player aid card. So you, when it comes to those trade winds with the different arrows, you're going to have to constantly be passing the rule book around to see, okay, does this arrow mean just the tile adjacent to it? Does it mean the next 2 tiles adjacent to it, or the 3 tiles that are all adjacent to it? Which one am I looking at here for that one? There's some of them that are tiles all orthogonally. There are some that are tiles all diagonally. There are some where it's just a little dot. That means you can activate any tile. So that's where the complexity of the game really starts to kick in with the tile drafting and putting them in your area to try and manipulate how am I going to get these goods the best, and like chaining these different goods. Like you draft that tile to trade a carpet in for a potion, and then you can put it adjacent to a tile to trade a potion into a scarab. And so all those different combinations can get hard to track sometimes. So I think that's the most difficult part of Bazaars of Ubar. But other than that, I mean, it's simple. Draft that tile, move your ship on the time, collect those goods, and then at the end of the round, sell as many goods as you want to for the desired cost of them. All right, guys, so moving on to the replayability here. I'm going to go ahead and give the replayability a 7 out of 10. I think there's some good replayability here. Really, there's only about 56 total tiles in the game. So you're probably about 2 playthroughs. You're going to go through and see all the tiles. So there are about 25 to 30 market cards here in the game, and that's going to change the replayability here for you. I do like that with those market cards, that the values don't just go up or down by 1. You know, every card is going to have a base value of what it is. So like, for example, the carpets are normally just worth 1 coin. There's some market cards that where the carpets are going to be worth 3 or 4. There's some where it's going to be worth 0. So I do like the fact that it goes up and down at a considerable amount. It's not just like +1 or -1. So those are going to feel fresh every time. But I think at the end of the day, this is just one of those games where you're not like chomping at the bit to play it again, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's just a good amount of replayability here with different strategies to try and take. And with those market cards, the goal is going to be to try and get different goods every time. So normally your scarabs are going to be the priority because they're always going to be worth the most because their base is 3. But I do like how other goods value goes up and down as well. So it's not just like every single game, okay, I'm just going for scarabs the whole time. Depending on the round, you can go for extra goods, and sometimes it might be worth more than scarabs. And so I like that freshness there. Okay, moving on to the price here. So the retail version of the game I've seen on a lot of places like Amazon, I want to say Miniature Market maybe, Game Nerds, is right around $29.99, okay, for that retail version. At that price point, I think that's an 8 out of 10, okay? I think that's a great price for this game. You know, Gray Fox Games, what I like about them is a lot of their games are simple, they're clean, they're easy, and they actually are an affordable price. I think that's great value for this. Like I said, you're just going to get a lot of those cardboard punch-outs in the retail version of the game, but you're still going to get those these little ship cardboard punch-outs, which are really, really nice. Now, I do, like I said, I think the only upgrade here that's really, really worth getting are those metal coins. If you could find those on Etsy or maybe a BGG store or something, or maybe Gray Fox Games themselves is selling the metal coins as an add-on, I would definitely recommend getting those metal coin upgrades. If you don't care about the board, that play mat is really nice, but I think I paid like 12 euros for the playmat, so it was like 15, 16 bucks for the playmat. Now, it is kind of annoying that the playmat does not store in a box, so I have to store it somewhere else. I think for me, based upon that, I probably would not get the playmat again and just kind of suck it up with the board. But I do feel the best upgrade here is definitely going to be those metal coins. So great value here, I think, at $30 with the Bazaars of Ubar. I think you're getting a game that is going to be a gateway game a little bit. It's super simple, super clean, super crisp. So 8 out of 10 for me with the price. All right, moving on to my overall rating here. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Bazaars of Ubar a 7 out of 10. I think the Bazaars of Ubar is a good game. There's a couple things I do enjoy about this. I do like the aspect of the having your boat and putting the goods in the boat, right? I've never played Isle of Cats before, and so I do enjoy that Tetris-y aspect of like trying to fit all these different goods on your ship and trying to get the most amount of goods. I think that's really cool. I do enjoy that engine building process of drafting those tiles, having time be the resource in the game. That's a cool way to manage how you are using that time efficiently, and being able to combo and chain all those different trade winds together. I think all that stuff about Bazaars of Ubar is really good. While I do enjoy those things about the Bazaars of Ubar, I do feel like with this game, they left something to be desired, right? To me, I think I perceive this as just an economic game, okay? Essentially, what you're just trying to do is draft these tiles, manipulate them in a manner to go ahead and get the desired goods that you're going to need to sell for the highest price at the end of the round. However, that being said, there's not a whole lot of player interaction here with those wind tiles in the market and things like that. And so I do feel like it's a slimmed down, stripped down version of what like a Raccoon Tycoon or a Lizard Wizard would be. Like, there's no trading. Everybody's building their own little tableau. I wish maybe that everybody built a singular tableau, just a giant tableau. You were like semi-cooperative a little bit, and you would be able to use different things of other people, because I think that'd be pretty cool. Is like you're banking on your opponent to draft a certain tile, and then also like that hurt, like if you needed that tile, then you can use that tile, but you'd have to draft another tile and use that trade win, because I do feel that depending on the turn structure, that certain players can get a massive advantage here in this game to start generating a engine that's just like, that's unbeatable, really. And so I wish there was something like that. I wish there was a little bit more player interaction here. Replayability, again, like I said, is okay, but I just feel like at the end of the day with Bazaars of Ubar, they just left something to be desired here. I don't really feel, I play this game and I'm like, man, like, yes, it was simple, it was crisp, it was clean, but I just wish there was a little bit more to it. So that is my overall rating here, a 7 out of 10. All right, so if I had the opportunity to back this game again, would I? And I unfortunately would have to say no. I don't think I would back this game again. The main reason here is I think there are other games that have this similar economic style that I would rather get to the table before the Bazaars of Ubar, even though there is this cool engine building mechanism and has that Isle of Cats mechanic as well. I would rather play other economic games with a little bit more player interaction, like Raccoon Tycoon, Lizard Wizard, QE, something like that. Because those games, I feel, give me what I need. It's that economic game with trading and bidding and player interaction, and it makes it a really enjoyable time. But those are my thoughts and opinions on the board game, the Bazaars of Ubar. If you guys back this game or played this game, please go ahead and drop it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts, opinions on this game? Go ahead and smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and as always, guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep making you more awesome content. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.